This is Justin AMZN for Thursday, July 18th, 2019. So first thing I want to say is at the end of the day or after hours today, we came right back up to this line. We'll see if we keep moving up or if we hit 1990 and just hover in here, roll over, break out. We'll see what happens tomorrow with this price. So it's just interesting that we got back up here so quickly. We really made another kind of U-shaped candle or U-shaped move today. U-shaped candle, that not a thing. U-shaped move, and it's very similar to this day where we just kind of had this gradual sell-off, made a triangle down here, and then just bounced and rallied. There wasn't really a clear point that we bounced in here, like a price that we bounced off of like 1955. We kind of stayed above 1950, and then we had we still had a good triangle in here. It looked like it was going to start to break down below this low and this low, and some more bears were getting in here, and then they were trapped because it quickly ran up. And I mean, the 1972.50 price wasn't much of a contender today, except right at the open. The low at the open was 1972.55, and just raced up off of that. And from there, didn't even get back up to 1990. Started to roll down, come back down to that. It made a very quick kind of triangle here. Let me zoom in on the day. Talk about it a little easier. So inverted hammer here, and that was the highest we got all day. From there, you could have been taking this breakdown or a retest back up into this candle, and then that rolled over. Some really small candles here as it just kind of gradually declined with the squeeze. And so at this point, I mean, the squeeze isn't even fired and you're hitting the next target. So you can take a little bit of something here and then just let it ride. And then, it's probably just a matter of measuring R's for getting out down here or seeing another hammerish type candle come in and knowing that we've been off the 21 for a while. We were held down by the 21 through here, broke through it, and then just rallied. And then this did kind of a primary quick retest and kind of a secondary retest off of the 1972.50 and bounced there. So we did bouncing here and we bounced here, and the rest of the day in between was down below it. A little different than how things played out the other day. You can go back and watch the video from, gosh, was that Monday? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, that was Monday. This U shape, and see kind of how we bounced, and it played out really similar to this, where we had a line in here we bounced off of and bounced off of again, but the rest of the day we spent below it. So we just, I think, had a larger move today than we did on this one. Yeah, larger range, deeper dive. And so there was opportunities going bearish, there was opportunities going bullish. And the day was pretty much split like that. Like the first half of the day was bearish and the second half of the day was bullish. And so this is the 2000 call. And I know it's a little ways away, but because we got down to 1955, but at that point, I mean, we were throwing a hammer down here and the low doesn't even show up on the chart. When it came down to 1955-ish, that area, we get down to under $50 on this option. And then even over here, it was $75. And so that's really easy to just pick up with a $100 risk and be into it, on this breakout. And then it just ran. If you got in at 1, it ran almost to 3, actually hit the high of 3. So it's possible you could have gotten 2R, with something out of the money like that. Now, if we do move closer, and I'm going to go with 1975, just a nice, another nice round number here. It's a little bit lower volume, I think, but again, a nice hammer here, came back down just about to the $3 price, and then really started to break out here. And so you could have been getting in this or waiting for this to break out above the high here, getting in at 4 or even at 5, something like that. But 4 by 3 on the breakout candle, if you got filled, that's great move. That runs from 3 or 4 all the way up to like 12, or maybe you got out some here at 10. Let's say you got in at 4 and out of 10, that's 6R. That's a nice gain. And that 10 would have been a target a little bit below the lows from kind of the open. And so that would have been a good place to be taking something or making sure your stop is at that point. And then it would have pulled back a little bit and give you another opportunity to buy here. This was around $8, and then another opportunity here around $8. And each of those were pullbacks to this indecision candle, bearish candle. But then on the 5 minute, that was the retest here and here. So even at this point, it gave you opportunities to get in bullish here for a quick move and here for a slower move, but still a move up. Getting in at like 8 or around 8, 825, 850, and getting out at 1050. I mean, it just bounced nicely. So when it didn't, when we broke down from this triangle, came down here, when we ran up and then didn't roll over underneath 1972.50, letting it go up a little bit higher. Here's some of the bears, trying to push it down, can't even get it back to this line. At this point, now it's bouncing off of old support that failed and didn't really even act as resistance, is now acting as support again. And so that was the let's see, that was the calls, and then the puts from the open, or from the triangle that kind of formed earlier on in the morning. It started to break down, and the you can see that the option just rallied. It had a really tight range here, around like $8 or so. So it still would have been tough to do like 8x7 with the 1975 puts. So maybe you could have gone out a little bit further. I was gonna say even in 1970 might help, just to give it a little bit of room. No, it's still kind of 6x5, but it would be a little bit tight. Maybe 60. And yeah, there you go. So like getting in like 3x2, something like that over here, and then that ran up and easily got you 10R, going 3x2, or even taking something at this high here at 9. So you're getting in 3x2, you make 6R, run up to 9. And then each of these pullbacks did a little something. So getting in at 8 and getting out at 10, getting in at 8, getting out at 10, that worked a couple times until you get in at 8 and it doesn't work. Things just moved in an interesting way. Kind of gave some signals that we're going to be breaking down, retesting into this level. Then we just kind of drifted a little bit lower, and then we put in this bullish candle. This is a really nice stair step that gapped down and then broke down, and then all along here could have been getting bearish, and then just taking profits. Once you're up a few R, just take some profits and lock in 3R, 4R, something like that. And then on the option, you can see this turned into a really nice accumulation here, and a really nice distribution here. And then on this call, it didn't really look like that as much as like a sideways channel. It kind of drifted, and then it rallied. So again, some smaller, if you go out of the money a little bit, some smaller ranges on some of these, and that's what we're looking for to do. $100 risk and to get in the right direction on it. So on the back in the daily here, we had a great pullback. The 21 here is at 1953.37. The low is 1951.55, and so it pulled through it by a little less than $2, but it was a great place to be buying here. This price retested the previous high, and didn't quite come down to here. We still have some room we could do that. We have room that we could pull back to a low over here and do like a quick retest and then a secondary retest. But we're still in the upper range of this uptrend channel, like this. We're right in the middle of this one. And so we're at the point that we were just talking about, where this 21 is going straight. And we kind of have a slight dip going on here. But if you look back, that's happened a little bit. Like right here, you might be thinking, oh, that looks like it's going to dip, it's going to roll down. And instead, we're making a high wave candle, within this range, a little bit higher than midway, and then we just rally from there. And so the potential is there that we could rally from here, especially with 4 bearish candles in a row. We could totally go sideways. We could start to rally. We could still break down. And one thing is that we don't have the bullish momentum helping. We actually have higher volume today, and it may have been because it was more indecision. A lot of bears shorting it and then taking profits down here, and a lot of bulls buying here and probably holding for something. So it makes sense that there's more volume than the past few days where it's been more or less stair step. So this is actually a breakdown. It's a bearish retest gap. It did retest today, and so if we have some more of a rollover, then we can come down lower. But we're still in an uptrend, and so got to always consider what's on the daily for setting up something on the 5 minute. And so, if you're not trading a bearish, then you would have ignored all this. And then as it's making kind of this triangle here, you're looking, well, maybe it'll get going. And if you hesitated, you wouldn't have gotten a trade in, or you would have been late and maybe had a little bit wider risk or a little further on the money, and trying to then scalp an R or two or something if you're a little further out. Um, so anyway, today, just a lot of great opportunities to play things both bearish and bullish. And so we're back for a Friday video and see how things are played out into options expiration for July, month expiration. So hope you enjoyed this video. This is Justin at AMZN. Thanks.